Welcome to the fascinating world of prompts. It's time to learn what are they and how they can enhance your conversations with ChatGPT. In this first lesson, we'll explore how important it is to frame your questions or requests for ChatGPT in a way that leads to fruitful discussions. You're probably asking yourself, what are prompts? So I want you to think of prompts as magical spells that unlock ChatGPT's full potential. Good prompts can keep the conversation focused, relevant, and informative. It's a clear and specific question or statement that you give ChatGPT so it can respond accordingly, just like you would instruct your kid or pet. For instance, you could tell ChatGPT to tell me a joke, or what's the weather today, or create a story about a dragon. Then ChatGPT will provide a relevant response or action. But the way you ask ChatGPT to converse with you can have a significant impact on how well the conversation flows. When you provide precise and specific prompts, it helps ChatGPT stay on track and ensures that it covers the topics you're interested in, making the experience more enjoyable and beneficial for you. So, how can you craft good prompts that lead to intriguing and informative conversations? Here are a few things to keep in mind. First of all, clarity is key. Ensure that your prompts are clear and easy to understand for ChatGPT, avoiding difficult or confusing words. Be specific in your prompts to help ChatGPT know exactly what you want and provide the best response possible. For instance, instead of using complex terms like anecdote or felines, use simple language like joke or cats to make your prompt clearer and more effective. Next, focus on a particular goal or objective when giving prompts to ChatGPT. Avoid broad and open-ended prompts that can lead to scattered and aimless conversations. Instead, provide clear and direct prompts to help ChatGPT generate the most helpful and targeted response. For example, instead of giving a general prompt like "talk to me about cooking," you can give a specific and focused prompt like, "Can you recommend a vegetarian lasagna recipe with mushrooms?" This prompt has a clear goal in mind, helping ChatGPT provide a more effective and targeted response. Lastly, ensure that your prompts are relevant to the conversation. Avoid bringing up random topics that have nothing to do with the current discussion, as this can be confusing and less enjoyable. For example, if you're discussing cooking with ChatGPT, it would be relevant to ask for a chicken parmesan recipe instead of asking for the capital of France. By applying these principles, you can craft effective prompts for ChatGPT that lead to engaging and informative conversations. In the next chapters, we'll delve into these principles further and explore specific techniques for creating clear and concise prompts. Crafting ChatGPT prompts that work well and provide helpful responses takes careful thought and attention. However, there are some common mistakes that can hinder the effectiveness of your prompts. Here are some mistakes to avoid. First, overloading the prompt with too much information. Sometimes people make the mistake of giving too much information in their questions to ChatGPT. This can make it hard for the AI to understand what the conversation is about. For example, instead of asking, "Can you help me find a good recipe for a cake with chocolate chips, and also tell me how to make sure it doesn't come out dry?" it's better to break it up into two questions. Can you suggest a good recipe for a cake with chocolate chips? And how can I ensure my cake doesn't come out dry? Second, using jargon or ambiguous language. When talking to ChatGPT, it's important to use language that it can easily understand. Avoid using complex words or phrases that could confuse the AI. For example, instead of saying, "I'm feeling really despondent today," it's better to say, "I'm feeling really down today." Third, being too vague or open-ended. Asking broad or vague questions like, "Tell me about everything," can make it difficult for ChatGPT to provide helpful responses. Instead, try to ask more specific questions that will guide the conversation in a focused direction. For example, instead of asking, "What do you think about dogs?" it's better to ask, "What are the benefits of having a dog as a pet?" Fourth, neglecting to include necessary instructions or constraints. It's important to give clear instructions to ChatGPT so that it knows what to talk about. For example, if you want to have a conversation about a specific movie or book, be sure to mention that in your prompt. Otherwise, ChatGPT might not be able to provide the responses you're looking for. To avoid these mistakes and ensure that your ChatGPT prompts are effective, try these strategies. Use specific, targeted questions instead of open-ended ones. Asking targeted questions can help guide the conversation in a specific direction and provide more helpful responses. For example, instead of asking, "What do you think about art?" try asking, "What do you think about the use of color in Impressionist paintings?" Be concise and to the point. Avoid including unnecessary details or instructions in your prompts. Stick to the essential information and avoid rambling or digressing from the main topic. For example, instead of asking, "Can you tell me about the history of the United States from the colonial period to the present day?" it's better to ask, "Can you tell me about the causes and outcomes of the American Civil War?" Use clear, concise language. Choose your words carefully and avoid using jargon or ambiguous language. Be sure to use language that is easy for ChatGPT to understand. For example, instead of saying, "I need to enhance my vocabulary," it's better to say, "I need to improve my vocabulary." Test and debug your prompts. It's important to test and debug your prompts to ensure they are clear and effective. Reset the conversation thread and start from the beginning to identify and troubleshoot any issues. For example, if you're not getting helpful responses, try rephrasing your prompt or asking a more specific question. By avoiding common mistakes and following these strategies, you can help to ensure that your ChatGPT prompts are clear, concise, and effective, and that the conversation flows smoothly and naturally. In order to drive engaging and informative conversations with ChatGPT, it's important to know what you want to talk about and steer the conversation in a helpful way. Here's how. Imagine you are planning a trip to a new city, but you don't know much about the local attractions, food scene, or culture. You can use ChatGPT to get some recommendations and plan your itinerary. Here's how you can apply the tips. Start with a clear and concise prompt. Begin by asking ChatGPT for recommendations on things to do, places to eat, and cultural events in the city you're visiting. Be specific about your interests and preferences. For example, you could say, "Can you recommend some museums, parks, and restaurants in London that are worth visiting? I'm interested in art, nature, and local cuisine." Encourage the ChatGPT to expand on its responses. As ChatGPT provides recommendations, ask follow-up questions to get more information and details. For example, if ChatGPT suggests a particular museum, you can ask, "What kind of art does the museum showcase? Are there any temporary exhibitions that I should check out?" Be mindful of the tone and language used in the conversation. Use a polite and respectful tone when interacting with ChatGPT, and make sure to clarify any misunderstandings. For example, if ChatGPT recommends a restaurant that serves spicy food, but you prefer mild flavors, you can say, "Thank you for the suggestion, but I'm not a big fan of spicy food. Do you have any other recommendations?" Monitor the direction of the conversation and adjust as needed. If ChatGPT suggests an attraction that you've already visited or doesn't fit your interests, you can gently steer the conversation in a different direction. For example, you can say, "Thanks for the recommendation, but I've already been to that museum. How about something more off the beaten path?" By following these best practices, you can have a more engaging and informative conversation with ChatGPT and get useful recommendations for planning your trip. Don't forget to use the Act As hack to make the conversation more fun and immersive. For example, you can ask ChatGPT to act as a local tour guide and provide insider tips on the best hidden gems in the city. As we have learned, the importance of well-defined ChatGPT prompts cannot be overstated. By following the tips and best practices outlined in this section, you can craft effective prompts that help you to get the most out of ChatGPT and use it responsibly and ethically. Now that you have a better understanding of the importance of well-defined ChatGPT prompts and the techniques for crafting effective prompts, you may be wondering what your next steps should be for mastering this art. Here are a few suggestions for how you can continue to improve your skills. Practice, practice, practice. The more you use ChatGPT and experiment with different prompts, the better you will become at crafting effective ones. Seek feedback from others. Ask friends or colleagues to review your prompts and provide constructive criticism. This can help you to identify areas for improvement and refine your skills. Keep learning. Look for examples of successful ChatGPT prompts in the next sections of the course, or ask other ChatGPT users for advice and tips. You can also join online communities or forums dedicated to ChatGPT to learn from others and share your own experiences. Experiment with different styles and approaches. Don't be afraid to try new things and see what works best for you. You may find that certain techniques or approaches are more effective for certain types of conversations. Stay up to date on the latest developments in ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. As technology continues to evolve, so too will the capabilities of ChatGPT. By staying informed about the latest advances, you can ensure that you are using the best techniques and approaches for your ChatGPT prompts. By following these steps and continuing to learn and improve your skills, you can become a master at crafting effective ChatGPT prompts and get the most out of this powerful tool.